Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. I am your host, Shay. Tonight, we're going to be talking about diversity and leadership.
Yes.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to tonight's podcast.
Out of the ashes we will soar to a destiny we can't ignore. Heartbeats echo through the night with every dream and endless flight. Together strong, let's break the mold. Our rebirth and stories told. It's time to renew, rebuild, restore. Unlock the dreams we've been waiting for. Rise up higher, more and more. With every breath, a new dawn's roar.
Happy Monday. Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. I'm your host, Shay.
And I'm the thinker, aka Corey.
Okay. Thank you. 1 point tonight.
Had to reverse it.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
That's what happens when you wear a renew, rebuild, and restore reverse.
Okay, that was the plug.
That was the plug.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. How has your weekend been? I hope you guys had a great day so far. Thank you for tuning in. Before we get into tonight's episode, please hit the subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, you can go to YouTube right now and subscribe. We are also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, as well as Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And Patreon. So make sure you
subscribe
somewhere, right? It doesn't cost a thing, but it means the world to us if you are able to click that link. So tonight we're going to be talking about leadership and diversity. But before we do that, again, March is Women's History Month. So shout out to all my amazing and beautiful ladies. We appreciate you. You guys are doing the darn thing, and we are here to support you. Yes, absolutely.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So for the month of March, I know it's Women's History Month, but we are also spotlighting small Black-owned businesses.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Last week we had Ebony Corporal Conway from Shacute Delicious.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I had to say that,
a
little slow to get it right.
Yeah.
And she's doing amazing things in the community with her charcuterie and her that's art, right?
Yeah,
because she creates a lot of art with the food that she is serving. And tonight is another long-term friend. I know. It's these are my people.
Your friend bag deep.
This is another one of my good long time friends.
Okay.
We were skating buddies, just back in the day. Ellesmere Skating Rink. If anybody listening from Ellesmere, what's up?
Never been.
Can you skate?
Yeah, I can skate.
Oh, okay. I want to see that.
The skate kid. The Bronx. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This young man is doing amazing things. I'm very excited about his new brand. Without further ado, welcome to the Rebirth Podcast for the first time, Joseph Street. Hey, Joey.
Hey, Shay. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us and talk to our audience tonight. Before we jump into the questions, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your brand?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm Joseph. The brand is Congo Dogs, and I'm a designer. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a motion designer, photographer, visual artist, basically. And
nice.
The brand is really basically about transferring my illustrations to apparel and other things, but mainly apparel.
Okay, that's awesome.
And the brand was born, or the name of the brand at least was born of my love for my dogs, which is, they're Basenjis. It's a rare breed, and they're the Congo dogs.
Yes. Now, I've never heard, when I tell you, his dogs are beautiful. Like, I've never seen a pretty dog.
Oh my God. Never seen a pretty dog.
They're so pretty. I'm gonna show you some pictures of them.
Okay.
So thank you, Joey. So I call him Joey, y'all, but it's Joseph, but I do call him Joey. So your brand is inspired by the Basenji, which is a rare breed from Central Africa. What drew you to that breed specifically, and how does how does its history and identity reflect your own journey as a Black visual artist?
Well, so when I was a kid, I had a book of dog breeds, and the breeds stood
Okay.
out to me back then just because they were strikingly beautiful.
See?
And so I wanted to have one, but over time, I lost track of the Basenji because I had never seen one in person. So,
Oh,
I
okay.
kind of gave up on having a Basenji, but as I became a seasoned man of a certain age, it came time to get a dog. And so I was talking to my husband about it, and we were like,
Uh-huh.
we want to be responsible about this and make sure we get the right breed for our household. And
Right.
we needed a dog that was hypoallergenic. And I say that in air quotes because that's debatable whether or not a dog can be hypoallergenic. But they shed lightly and seasonally, so we selected them for that reason. But also, we were living in Brooklyn in a small apartment, and we didn't want to be disruptive to our neighbors, so we wanted a quiet dog. We didn't want a yappy
Oh, okay.
Chihuahua. So Basenjis are actually barkless dogs.
What? I better give me one.
Never heard of that before.
They don't bark.
They don't bark?
Cannot bark. They can't bark. They're born with an unusually shaped larynx in their throats, so they can't bark. They are capable of sound, so they can scream if they need to.
Okay.
And they do something that sounds kind of like a howl, but it's like it's like muffled.
Okay. Oh wow.
But yeah, they're very quiet, and some of them are just mute.
Wow.
Wow.
I never
I
even
never
knew
heard
that.
that existed.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but also my ancestry, I did my ancestry.com, and my ancestry traces back to the Congo as well. So I feel like, my babies are blood relatives as well.
Right. Oh wow. I want to do that. Have you done that yet?
Yes, I
You
found
have.
my mom.
That's right. You have. That's how you found your mom. You're right. I want to do that. I got to do the ancestry.com.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. That lesson, because I had no idea that there was even that dogs. I thought all dogs barked. So that's definitely new information for me.
What's new? So being a niche brand takes courage for sure. How have you built community around something so specific? What has that taught you around connection, culture, and ownership in business?
I've been since 2019 when I started searching for the breeds. I had to find them. I started connecting to these groups. I started contacting. We actually tried to adopt a Basenji for a while, and it was very difficult to do that. But even getting a Basenji through breeders is very difficult because they can afford to be very selective about who is qualified to have a Basenji. So it actually took us a year to wait for each of them. But I know people who've been on lists for years waiting to be qualified to have a Basenji.
Wow.
Yeah. But being a niche brand, I have discovered that it's, it takes time and patience to just kind of connect to your target consumer. So, I mean, over time, we've been trying to connect to Basenji people and people who love the breed. And
Okay.
so it's taught me to pivot, and I kind of had that in mind to begin with before I started the business, that we would pivot to doing custom design.
Okay.
Because not everybody's going to want Basenji stuff.
Uh-huh.
But as a freelance, I've been a freelance designer for over 10 years now, so I can just funnel a lot of that business into Congo dogs. So we're also providing custom design.
Okay, so that brings us to the oh, you had something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go
I'll
ahead.
be having a spin-off question.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned earlier how you have to be qualified right? And you had to connect,
Yeah.
and it took you over a year. What makes you qualified to have one of the dogs?
Well, it's kind of like we met with various breeders, and you kind of have to. They have like group interviews with people, and they kind of ask a bunch of questions about what you know about the breed, because there is a lot to know about the breed. And if you don't know a lot about them, they're not going to really consider you. So I made sure I went in there, asking all the questions and having all the
Right.
answers, and I did all the research. Because I needed my Basenji right away. And I remember when we were looking for the Basenji, I had, we found one in Harlem, and we went to visit him, and we were obsessed with him immediately. And I took a selfie with him, and Shay hit me up because she saw my selfie on social media, and she said, "What kind of dog is this? That is a beautiful dog." And I was like, "I know, right? I need to have one of these."
Yes.
And of course they would have it in Harlem. Harlem got everything. Everything. Basenji, alligator, they have everything in Harlem.
Usually they're like down south or in some faraway land. That's why it's been difficult to get them. But the breeder is actually in Jersey. But one of her dogs was in Harlem, and she had given the man this dog with a contract that he would breed her. So we actually wound up getting one of her pups.
Okay.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So you talked about custom design. So you offer custom design services that collaborate with brands and individuals to create bespoke pieces. What makes your creative process different from mainstream apparel? And how do you ensure every piece carries a soul and storytelling?
Well, so before I got started, I was researching how to get started, and I was watching lots of videos, and all the videos were saying the same thing. They were saying to do the same thing that everybody else was doing, to look at the data and to see what's working out for these companies. And so these are the designs that's working for all of these companies. Use these designs, sell these designs. And I was like, and maybe I would have been more profitable had I gone that route, but it wasn't, original designs. I want to do my own designs, and I want to be, original. I want to set myself apart from these other brands. So I think that's one thing that we're doing differently, but also, we're working with people. Bringing their ideas to life. So, we just recently did a logo for a food truck company, and they had a specific idea of what they wanted their logo to look like. And so I made a few variations incorporating their ideas, and I made a few variations incorporating mine, and they did pick mine. So I was excited about that.
Nice.
But I threw in some apparel, and I sent that over to them as well, just in case they wanted to.
Right. There you go. That's right. That's right. That's that marketing thing right there.
Right.
That's good. You got your next question? If not, I'll move to mine.
Yeah, move to yours.
You got
What's
that?
mine?
Okay. So, Joey, I'm about to mess the name up.
The Basenji.
The Basenji represents legacy, rarity, and identity. What do you hope your brand says about Black ownership, creativity, and the power of building something that doesn't bark for attention but commands respect anyway?
Well, I'm a Leo.
Yes.
And we don't bark for attention, but we tend to find it.
My daughter's a Leo.
Shay, you got a Leo too, right?
I'm a Virgo, but I got 3 Leos: my mom,
yeah.
my son, and my husband.
What? Oh snap! Okay,
that's a lot.
Yes, it is a lot.
But I feel like I never really, growing up, I was an introvert, and I didn't really feel like I fit in at home or in school. I was kind of, a loner. and I feel like I was a rare breed myself. So I like the rare breed portion of the story.
Yeah.
So I feel like we set ourselves apart, and we're different, and we're giving a different style. And I want that to be, I want our brand to be honest and bold and fearless, and to walk against the crowd, and to be a rare breed.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's our
like that.
legacy.
I like that. I love that. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy and excited for what's to come. I know it's going to be amazing, and we are here to support. I gotta get me one of those Congo. I gotta get me a little cat. I don't have a dog, but I can still rock the merch. I can still rock that.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah, we could send you a rebirth hat. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
whatever you need.
I gotta see the dogs
I
now.
appreciate that. Yeah, you got to see the
Oh,
dogs.
Yeah,
They
I
are.
gotta
Oh my
I
god.
could pull them
they're
into the
so-
camper if you want to see.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, one
Yes,
sec.
yes. Okay.
yeah,
And
let's see.
honestly, they remind me of. It's a dog, but it has like a deer feature. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Look, here we go, Oh my goodness, look! Oh, he's so cute.
Look at them.
Oh,
Oh,
what's their names?
This is Storm, and that was Sky.
Storm and
I
Sky.
love it.
That's cool.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing them with
For
us.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So please tell everybody how they can reach out to you, how they can follow you and support your brand.
They can reach us at congodogs.com. That's CONGODAWGS.com. They can find us on Etsy. Just search for Congo Dogs, and on the social media networks, we're at Congo Dogs.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Yes. Did you see her?
Yeah, I learned something
They're
new, too.
beautiful,
Yeah,
aren't
they
they?
are beautiful. Yeah, they
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joey. It was so good seeing you and talking to you. And we appreciate you. And guys, please make sure you support. You support. We
Yeah,
got to
for
make
sure.
sure that we're supporting our small businesses. And yeah, you got any more questions?
No, I'm gonna share. I
Comments?
got a lot of people that are dog lovers, but I can go back to work tomorrow and share some stuff that I learned. Feel like a pro.
Okay. Now, see, you know what? He gonna mess it all up.
I'm
I'm
not-
like,
I'm
the
not.
dog don't talk.
Yeah.
That's
awesome, though.
awesome. Thank you, Joey. Again, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right,
good
take
one.
care. See you
Bye.
soon. That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
They
I
look
had
cute.
no idea that
Sky
they're
and Storm.
yeah.
They well taken care of. They look like they eat. They skin clearer than
Oh,
mine.
he takes care of those dogs. Absolutely. So you are in control tonight, buddy. What we got going on? Yes.
Never giving up control on women's month.
Yes.
Okay.
we give it-
So the conversation we're about to have is around diversity and leadership.
Mhm.
And I felt like it was important, just considering the space that we're in this administration, right?
Mhm.
If you think about, like, when it comes to, I don't remember feeling, I would call it pressure, right? But like this pressure around diversity and leadership, what it means to walk into a room of leaders, not only as a man, but also
Mhm.
as a man of color. Since the last time my man was in office.
Mhm.
Right. But diversity and leadership matters, right? Like, I think it's important when you are in a room of leaders and they look like you. It affects how you show up. It affects how you lead. It affects your everyday. We talked about last week around just your nervous system and
Right.
all of those things. It affects culture, right?
Mhm.
They say you define culture by how your stomach feels about Monday morning on Sunday.
Mm.
Right. And I think that it's important that we kind of talk through what diversity looks like in leadership and what makes us show up as our full selves. And whether that's in private business or that's in corporate America, I think it's super important to kind of discuss what that looks like. Because as I was kind of doing like some research and kind of looking at some videos around it, I was like
Mhm.
shocked by some of the myths and some of the feelings and the emotions that are out there
Mhm.
around it.
Mhm.
And I've been a leader for 21 years or
Mhm.
so. Right?
Okay, leader.
Yeah, and I've led a number of diverse teams, right?
Mhm.
And some of the conversations that we've had from a leadership perspective was just really powerful. Taking the business out of it,
Yeah.
we bring our whole selves to work, right? And what type of leader shows up, and a leader sometimes demands or showcases what type of team environment you're going to show up. Like I'm sure you have it. You're a leader in your own right, personally and professionally, right? And how you show up and lead your team matters, and how you're able to connect matters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you're also, your leader also looks like you, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to talk about how important that is to you, and how diversity matters when it comes to leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Right.
But
yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
You know how I
let's
get
do
with you.
it. Let's
You know how I get with you.
Okay.
So when you hear about, when you think of leadership in diversity,
I'm putting in my boundary that we learned from last
what's
week.
the boundary? What's the boundary?
I was waiting to do
What's
that.
the boundary?
No,
What's the
no,
boundary?
let's talk about
When you
it.
think about diversity, what do you think about? When you think about leadership diversity, what comes to mind?
When I think about leadership and diversity, what comes to mind? It's interesting because I'm actually ready to say a lot of the issues that a lot of my clients is having right now in corporate America with diversity and leadership, being led by people that don't look like them, or that's not the same gender as them and don't look like them, and we're also under this presidential leadership, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about our beautiful sisters that are, that is really struggling under this type of leadership, right? Because they're constantly getting gaslit. Constantly getting gaslit, constantly pushing the bar. As soon as they do the things that they need to do to get that raise or to get that promotion, now it's pushed, the bar is pushed again. So that's what that is what comes to mind, the negative side of it, the things that I see that's coming into my sessions where my sisters are struggling.
It's interesting you say that. So a recent stat says about 28 to 35% of corporate America boards are of women. Only 20% of that are women of color, but that also includes Black, Latino representation, typically under the board or the number of diversity in those businesses, right? So I can only imagine what that feels like. But I know as a Black leader also, I felt that as well, right? So I've been a part of teams where we were all people of color. And what that said to me was I felt so comfortable, right? Just how we speak and how we show up and how we talk, right? And just the understanding and sometimes the unspoken gestures that we have. It's just a real thing, right? But when that room shifts and it's not that way, I tend to be a little bit more reserved, right? I still perform, still show up and do the things that I am, but I also feel like I have to show up differently. Right. And I remember being a part of a conversation, and I challenged one of the leaders, and I said to them, have you ever talked? Now they were white. And I said, have you ever talked to your leaders about how they feel? Because I think this is when we were in Philadelphia, and it was in a corporate space, right? But it was the corporate building, right? And I was just kind of taking an observation of their team, and I was just like looking. I said, have you ever talked to your team about, do they show up as they full selves at work? And they immediately were like, of course they do. Like, they're fine. Like, we have good meetings and so on and so forth. I said, but did you ever ask the question?
Right.
It says, no, I didn't ask the question, but I'm going to go ask. And they went and asked the question. And one of their leaders, who happened to be a part of the LGBT community, says, when I walk in this office and I get off the elevator, I shed my Blackness. And it was the first time they ever heard.
Wow.
They had no idea that was even a thing. Right. And it totally shifted their perspective. Right. And how sometimes we're just not accounted for in the room. And even if we are in the room, you have to make sure that you are having like-minded conversation. How do you include? What does that look like? Right. But also, what does diversity look like to us as people? Because to me, they would say diversity means there's an equal amount of women on the team, or there's more women than there is men, right? Or there are different ethnicities on the team. But if I don't see me, I don't know if I feel like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've noticed that they will definitely shift a dynamic in how people show up. And I was listening to this video. I meant to send it over earlier. And this is kind of unique. And I wanted to ask you this too. And I was thinking about Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish she was on here. I was going to ask her. She always comes on.
Shout out to Lisa Savage.
Yeah, she comes on profound. So if she watches, she may post a video about it.
Yeah.
So it was a young lady in Atlanta, and she shared that even though diversity is important to her and having a leader that looks like her, she finds that when she has a leader that looks like her, that happens to be an older Black woman, she feels under pressure. She doesn't feel valued. She doesn't feel seen. And she feels like she has to work. She said she was on antidepressants.
Yeah.
Because she felt like the pressure was way too crazy. Can you speak to that? You said you've heard that before, and I thought it was unique.
That before. I have heard that before, and I can't speak to it personally because that's not the type of leader that I am. But I can say that I think where I heard it from, it was a couple different people that have experienced this, and different outcomes. One lady, it was tough love.
Okay.
She saw the potential. She saw, she was just pushing, pushing. But the leader, and we'll put the leader and then the employee, she wanted it more than what the employee wanted it. Right. So for her, it felt like it was just overwhelming, too much. She couldn't see that within herself. For the other person, it was just exactly what, she forgot where she came from. She forgot what her struggle was. And she was just extra hard, extra hard. Didn't care about, what was going on, what was happening, what the barriers were. Just do it. If I was able, it was the mentality of, if I was able to do it, then you should be able to do it. She compared everybody's experience from her experience, which was unfair. Right. So I've seen both. And yes, they both were, Black women being led under other Black women as leaders in high corporate America. Yeah.
And I find it, so like what she was kind of sharing was they don't necessarily show you how to show you the ropes. Right. Especially she kind of talked about, especially being down south where there's so many sororities, right? And they're women of they're doing their thing, and their pressure and their prestige and things like that. She felt that she would give the gateway and they would show you the ropes, but they didn't. I find I've never had the experience of being under I can't say that, that's not true. I find that from the male Black experience, they're harder on us in how we show up in a room.
For Black men.
Okay. So they will open the door for you, but you better be this.
Yeah.
You gotta look this way. You gotta have a suit on all the time. Tie has to be straight, right? I remember I got promoted to a manager role, and the senior leader, he was a Black guy, cool guy, right? And he scheduled some time with me. He put some time on my calendar, and he said, I just want to talk to you, not only congratulate you, but I just want to have a conversation with you. So we get in a room and closes the door, and he says, do you recognize the responsibility you have? So I'm sitting there like, what you mean? I'm thinking just from the role perspective overall.
Right.
And he says, no, not from the role perspective. How you show up and how you perform, and how when you walk out of this office, how many people are looking at you to be the best of the best of the best of the best. All right. And I just never realized the responsibility that necessarily came with that until there was an older Black woman that sat me down, and she says, when I see you walk into a room, I feel so proud. Right. But it also shows that everybody's paying attention to how much representation so
Yeah.
matters for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It does matter.
It matters so much for us. So like when you have the conversations with some of the folks, like what do they feel like is the barrier for them, and why they feel like they just can't, like I guess the pressure of, you said they come in and they're feeling like so much anxiety around, they don't feel seen from a leadership perspective, or they feel like they have to overperform or underperform.
Some of the issues that well, definitely performance is a big thing, right? Well, some of the issues is they're given information at the last minute, and it's expected to, you know, perform when it's meeting time, right? And which you're setting them up for failure, right? And I'm talking about tasks that cannot be done at a last, you know, in the last minute. So it's like you set me up for failure. I'm not prepared because I'm just now getting the information. So now it looks really bad in the eyes of the big bosses, you know. Maybe putting them in a position of leadership that's underneath them, but without giving them the skills and the tools
to do it
that they need to be successful at it. Giving you the position, but not teaching you what it is that you need to do.
So you feel like you're set up for
I'm
failure.
allow you to pretty much, you know, pull your own chain.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other end of that is being overlooked. You know, especially like I said, as the, you know, as a Black woman, being overlooked for their, you know, non-Black counterparts. You know, rather it's another female or another male, but they're just not people of color.
Yeah.
And you're highly qualified, right? And then there's the pay thing, right? So we already make the lowest pay. We're not getting paid as women, as Black women. We're not getting paid what we should be getting paid.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so those are a lot of the issues that I see coming in when people are talking about, and I do get a lot of people that are coming into therapy because of the stress and their survival and we talked about this last week, the survival mode that they're stuck in because of corporate America.
Yeah. Have you noticed an uptick over the last year, or is it just kind of creeping up? Yeah.
No, I have definitely.
Noticed an uptick.
Definitely. I've had so many people that had to come out of work because it's so toxic and it's triggering for them. So, you know, they, you know, either their anxiety is so bad or their depression is so bad that they needed to come out for a little bit. Yeah. I definitely see an uptick in it. Yeah.
I often wonder, so even like the pressure, I'm going to call it pressure, but like even from a hiring perspective, right? I was having a conversation with a couple of my friends, and we were talking about just when you applying for roles today, do you feel compelled when you put on the application your race, or do you mark not applicable or other? Right, because you feel like you may not get a foot in the door because of your African American, right, or your African American male in leadership, or you're asking for this type of money, or you are applying for a role where you're a decision maker, right? So they don't want to disclose until they get in the interview. At least gives them a door, a gateway in,
right? And
now we're in the interview phase, right? And I never really even looked at it like that. You know, applying for a role in today's environment, right? And where that particular pressure comes from, but you know, one thing's for sure for me, man, like I when I'm in a room of diversity with my team, I mean, I lead a group of about 60 to 70 people today. I do make sure that everybody definitely feels seen in a room, right? Because I think it's important to not only build your team, but I need to make sure that I'm leading in a way that makes sure that I'm giving it back as well.
That's right.
Right.
That's important.
Yeah. Right. So, I make sure that everybody feels seen or
Mm-hmm.
feels heard or has the opportunity to represent themselves, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
Right. Because they're also a reflection of me as a leader.
Yeah.
And a reflection of me as a Black leader as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I supervise. So I obviously I have a staff, right? And I meet with my therapist every week for supervision. And there's this one young lady that just started underneath of me not too long ago. And one of the things that she said to me was she was so grateful for our interaction with supervision and stuff like that, because she was being led by another leader who was a sister. And she said that every supervision, every meeting, she felt that the person would try to make her look stupid in front of other people. Like she would call her out on certain things and it will really be embarrassing, things that maybe she should have talked to her about like individually.
Right.
She would do it in front of everybody else, and it made her start to question herself as a therapist. And she was feeling really down. But now she's under my leadership and she's growing, she's thriving, and that's because number one, I was you one time, right? I had someone that took me under their wing and groomed me and showed me the proper way. As long as I'm going to critique, but I'm going to empower you as I'm critiquing.
For sure. Yeah.
At the same time, my critique is not to make you feel bad or sending you home crying and have you up all night thinking about things that was words that was harmful to you. I'm going to empower you, but I'm also going to say, hey, maybe have you considered doing it this way?
Yeah.
What would it look like? What do you think the outcome would be if you did this? Right. And she appreciates that. And that's pretty much how I lead.
Yeah.
I think it's important for my team to see me as relatable.
Yeah.
You understand?
Sure.
Still respect my leadership, but don't be afraid to come to me to talk about things, as well.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. And I do similar things, right? Like I'll have very purposeful conversations, even outside of what the business strategy is for the day or for the month. I have very personable conversations with them, right?
Yeah.
Ask them about how their family is and how things, and I share things about myself. I remember we did, I had my whole team do introductions of themselves. So I went first.
Okay.
And they found out I did podcasts, right? And so, it was around mental health. For real? And it just generated so much conversation, right?
I bet.
But putting some of the pictures up just from like the Rebirth Live and some of the events that we did, just generated so much conversation, and it allowed us to just connect in a very different way. But I also noticed that when they have been, to your point, I think when they've been on other teams, they don't feel as connected. They don't feel as seen.
Yeah.
Or people don't put them in position.
Yeah.
And one thing I've always said to people, you always have to remember yourself being in the seat that they're in.
Absolutely.
And
Because
what
people
that feels
forget
like.
where they come from.
Yeah, for sure.
People definitely forget where they come from. And I think it's important to understand your leadership style as well.
Yeah.
We literally had to go through a training to understand our leadership style, to also just, communication. Just because you are in a leadership position does not always mean that you know how to lead.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know how to lead, and you have to be able to know who you are leading, because everybody learn different.
Yeah.
Some people are auditory learners. Some people, they're good with visual. You got to know who you are leading so you can actually pull out the best in each individual that you're leading. Right? That's important. What do you guys think? Put it in the chat. What are some of your experiences on diversity and leadership?
Yeah.
Both positive and negative.
Yeah, and like, what would be your tips to how to navigate through it too, right? Because I would also say, like, when you are a part of a leadership team that may look different than you, what does your pushback look like?
Yeah.
How do you lead up? How do you lead across?
Mhm.
Right? Do you feel as comfortable doing that? Right?
Mhm.
And I would always empower, just always do it the right way.
Mhm.
But you definitely have to show and be yourself for sure. Like
Yeah.
I would never tell you to shed yourself or shed who you are as a leader or who you are as an employee, period.
Mhm.
Right? I
Mhm.
think you have to have the opportunity to conduct yourself properly. But always show up and show out and be your best
Mhm.
and fight for who you really are. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And especially in these times, I think it's important that we bring on community, right?
Right.
And we
Right.
support each other,
Right.
because so many times that we are trying to fight for our seat at the table or our seat to be seen,
Right.
and we also need to make sure that we're going together,
Yeah.
if that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? And whatever that looks like, right? The diversity doesn't always have to mean African American or Black. It could be women, it could be disability, it could be
Sexual
culture,
identity.
sexual identity, it could be
Yeah.
all of that, right?
Absolutely.
Because one thing for sure about diversity of thought matters.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? How you're represented in a room. I may totally miss the mark on something because I'm just not even considering it.
Yep.
But having diversity at the table
Yeah.
allows everybody to be seen and thoughts to be had, and we can come together as one and towards a common goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We even do it like, you think about like Rebirth Live,
A lot.
right?
Yeah.
Think about how many people and different experiences are up there on that panel,
Right.
and how many shared
Right.
stories are coming.
Right.
Right. That's what
Right.
makes it impactful.
And it's on purpose,
For
right?
sure, yeah.
Because we actually select, it's on purpose, that it looks like that. Side note, I was watching last night the podcast of oh gosh, it's Black Men something sisters.
Never seen
Black, no, because you actually had sent it to me a while ago. They hadn't aired it yet.
Okay.
Black Men, oh gosh, feeling is something about feeling safe, or
Was
oh
that
God,
with Clifton Powell?
Clifton Powell.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't think of the exact name.
Yeah, it was Black. How do Black men feel safe or trust with women?
Trust Black women, trust
with women.
Black women, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Black men trust Black women.
Right,
Black,
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So this was talking about Black men trusting Black women, and the round table. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, it got heated.
It
Did it
did.
get heated?
It did get
Clifton
heated.
Powell lost his cool.
Did he?
What?
He went back to one of the movie
He thought he
roles.
was in a movie, right? He sure did, right? But it's so much, and I don't want to get sidetracked, but it's so much behind him losing his cool.
Yeah.
And I think you and I can agree as to why he lost his cool.
For sure. Yeah.
So this is a table of Black men,
Yeah.
right? This is the topic of Black men trusting Black women. But at the table, when we're talking about diverse,
Yeah.
there was a lot of diversity there. Now, although they were all men of color, there was one Latino that was there who is still considered to be a man of color. However, Black men trusting Black women, there was you had men that was from the rap game, you had men that were activists,
Yeah.
you had actors that was at the table. So it's not diversity can also talk about what it is that you're the world that you're coming from.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
100%.
But then you also had a gentleman there that identified as being gay. You had a now, okay, I don't want to mess this up, but transgender.
Okay.
You had also a transgender. He was the Latino guy.
Latino guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he talked about his experience before transitioning from a female to a male. So this is at a table of Black men talking about what they went through as men.
Yeah.
And in this one scene, Clifton Powell and the transgender got into a heated, well, it wasn't the transgender, it was the gay guy. They got into a real heated debate, to the point where it looked like they were about to come to blows. But I do believe that a lot of it had to do also with the undertone of what wasn't being said at the table, right? which was it was a conversation. I think for Clifton, he's old school. He's in his 70s.
Mhm.
He's like, how can you even tell me anything about being a man?
Mhm.
And it's you know,
Yeah.
this is, you know, the person that he was arguing with was who was still a man,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he just identified as gay, but then the transgender who was actually born a female.
Yeah.
So it was some back and forth going on, but it was a perfect example of the diversity around the table, right? But also you saw who was being the leaders at the table to bring that conversation
Yeah.
back around full circle.
Yeah.
And finally it did end in a calm way.
Yeah.
But that was a perfect example of just different types of diversity and
Yeah.
what that looks like.
Yeah, and sometimes what I also learned, which that conversation brought someone such a crazy exercise for me, because I took that and like blossom into an exercise, which was one of my questions that I asked, right?
Okay.
But so to your point, what I also learned around the table, you can have a group of the same community,
Mm-hmm.
but we all have different experiences, and we will almost argue you down based off of to see whose experience was more justified or right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Clifton's point to me was he just learned at 70 years old that he was not loving the right way for 68 years. Because he thought he was doing it the right way. And I think his point to the other gentleman was, you can't tell me, as I think the guy was trying to tell him, women are tired of telling you what to do it. And all he was saying was, you're right. But I didn't know that I was doing it wrong.
Exactly.
And that's where the disconnect came from. Because I'm telling you, at 70 years old, I just learned that I was doing it the wrong way. How mind-blowing is that?
And I'm living in it.
And I'm living in that moment. And you telling me, right, young, whatever that is, our experience is different, but you're not hearing me. Right. So, but also it was important that they heard at the table. So imagine all of those black men, they're responsible for families and leading and things like that. How do we remix that, right? Which led to like one of the questions that I asked around all of us, from a men's perspective, on a scale of 1 to 10. Where would you rate your experience in trusting women?
Who you asked this to?
It was one of my chapter questions.
Oh, okay.
So I asked it on social
and what
media.
Was the feedback?
It was interesting because my goal was to roll it up, right? So all of your experience with women up until this point, consider family, consider relationship, consider friends. If you had to score from 1 to 10, where would you rate your experience with women, your trust for women, right? So I'm thinking people are gonna just give a number. People, when they started to answer, they started to not rank their women, but they would say, my wife is a 10. My daughter's a 7. All the other women in my life, 5. Or they would go, my wife is a 9. No, my wife is a 6. All the other women in my life, 8. My daughter's a 9.
Okay.
So just to watch where that came from, which caused to do an exercise where we just rank them out. So when you rank them out, you start to see your trust issues started way before your relationship. If you didn't trust mom, sister, right, you're almost leading yourself down the wrong path. You got to go fix this. So it was an interesting conversation when people started to rank them out and to say, like, overall, and I even put it in my family chat, and just to see where people fell, why you don't trust. Then we got into the whys and experience and things like that. But it was eye-opening to just put it on paper and say, whoa. And then I asked women the same thing, right? And see where people put, like, if you didn't trust dad, you didn't trust stepdad, you didn't trust uncle. When you get to marriage,
right,
your perception is even crazy.
Right, absolutely.
Right. So
that's a good exercise.
Yeah, it was interesting to see. So when people look at the paper, they're like, damn.
Right.
All these men that came before you, him, they rank as a 2. How could you trust me? How could you give her a fair shot?
And then I would like compare the men to the women, and as to like who trust the less. I kind of want to say, was it women when you
it was
tally everything up?
it was women, all things considered, based off
Okay.
of women have a lot to deal with us because
Mhm.
you know there's children involved. There's it's the way you all are holding down families and
Mhm.
covering men when for real they don't deserve to be covered.
Mhm.
Like you guys fake a lot just to make sure that we're okay. You're right, or our egos are saved. So I think it was proportioned that way for so many different reasons too. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So yeah, I think women were like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was an extra. It was a wild exercise just to have people have that conversation and kind of talk about it. And some people were like, "Wow, I never even thought about it."
Mhm.
You know
So
what I mean?
won't you explain that exercise so people can that's watching, they can do it for themselves if they want to.
Yeah. So the exercise is if you consider some male or female, right? Consider all of the men or women that you've had in your life up until this point. Consider family. That means mom, children, aunties, right? That means uncle, dad, stepdad, grandfather. That means boyfriends. That means baby dads. That means friends, best friends, so on and so forth. And if you had to tally them all together and give it a number, score from 1 to 10, 10 being trust 100% to 1 not being so much, where would your number lie
Yeah.
if you averaged it out? Right? Mine was a 7.
Yeah.
Right
Yours
now,
is a 7.
now people there was people that ranked high, but that
Uh-huh.
average was brought down by some other things, right?
Okay.
But also people took it a step further and they started to rank people. And when you put it on paper, you get a chance to look at it. It drew an interesting conversation.
I bet.
It was an interesting conversation.
bet.
Yeah. So it was good. It was
Yeah.
something I was just like, yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation starter.
So what getting back to the leadership and diversity, what is it that is important for people to really understand in regards to that? Like, what if they are in a situation where they're under leadership and there's like some of the issues that I was saying?
Yeah.
Like, what is your suggestion as to how do you even coexist when you're dealing with those type of things?
I think one of the things that I would definitely say is that show up as yourself, but show up right though. Right? Sometimes just because you are doesn't mean you can show up wrong. Right? And sometimes people will say, well, I just want to show up as my authentic self and I just want to be seen. But you also have to show up right? Because you want to also make sure that you have a seat at the table as a right seat at the table. But I would also say make sure that you are challenging the status quo. Be authentic, be yourself, ask questions for sure. Ask questions. Be so bold as to ask questions and maybe even you start what that looks like from a diversity perspective, right? Do you have ethnicity groups in your organization? Do you have ask those questions at those leadership meetings about diversity when it comes to hiring, right? Think about what you need at that table. And again, don't be afraid to ask questions and come together as a people, as friends, or as colleagues. That's what I would definitely say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think we need more. We need more leaders. We need more leadership. We need more people that look like us in positions. Over the last few months, I've been interviewing. We're looking for school-based therapists. By the way, that's a plug. If you are a mental health therapist or licensed social worker, or you have your LPMCH, or you're in a mental health counseling field, pre-licensed, we are hiring. We are looking for therapists at the Center for Child Development. But I say all of that because when these people log on to interview with me, especially if it's a person of color, when you see the face, when they come on and see, it's like a big smile.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, you can literally see the
feel seen. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh my God, I'm so excited, you know, and it's it feels good. You know what I'm saying? It feels good because I remember being on the other end of that.
Yeah.
Right. And feeling like I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not educated enough, or am I going to say the wrong word, or am I going to, you know, and the coldness of the person across from me that I'm interviewing with, like to feel that happiness that actually comes through when someone comes on to interview and they see that I'm a person of color and I'm a woman, and it feels good. You know, it does. It feels really
I would
good.
even venture to say even your hair.
Right, you're right about that. A woman with locks.
Right.
Yeah, you are so right about that. I didn't even think that's a good
one. When they see your hair, right?
That is a good one.
That also is another way that folks feel seen. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's a powerful one.
Yeah,
that's a powerful one. But all people belong in the room, and I think that just because I would even say to us as people of color, don't forget what it's like to be on the other side of that coin. And you have a responsibility not only to yourself, and you have a responsibility to God as well, because regardless of what, He's watching.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And teach your people, like teach them how to show up. Teach us how to show up so we can be in those rooms. Don't be selfish, bro. I had the opportunity to speak to a group of 8th graders.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So I had the opportunity to speak to a group of 8th graders last Thursday. And you know, kids can be intimidating, right? You walk into, so we was in Wilmington, and I go into the school. The lady comes to get me in the office. I'm just kind of talking to her. She's from above, walking up the stairs, in the room, and 8th graders are kind of sitting there. You know, they're in their zone. I'm in there. I'm on their chair, right? So I sit in the middle of the table. I just kind of like greet them all. And what the conversation that ended on is really talking about the circle. How important it is to make sure that your circle are people that are like-minded, people that are not. I think my first question is, friends, are you all friends? And would you consider your friends the ones, do they get you into stuff or they pull you out of stuff? Right. And it was a good conversation because they started to answer, and I'm saying to them, now you guys are about to go to high school. Do you know what high school feels like? And understand that life is going to change for you. The person to your left, you may not see them because they may go to a different high school. But that doesn't mean life is over. You know what I mean? Then we started to talk about, like, what y'all want to do? What y'all like? This young girl said, I'm gonna be a doctor. Now, mind you, she had a hoodie, 2 hoodies on. Hoodies on, you could barely see her face. Right? But she said, I'm gonna be a doctor.
Okay.
I said, yeah, you're gonna be a doctor. She said, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Right? Very confident.
Absolutely.
They were all honor students, right?
Nice.
They were all honor students, but they were so diverse in that room. And then those in the next 10 years are going to be either A, in the workforce, school, and doing some of the, and here's the thing, these kids today, they're leading at very early ages. They're leading each other. And what I wanted to make sure they understood is your circle matters, and the people that you're influenced by matter. Absolutely. You guys are all on social media and certain things talked about relationships and how you think this boy looks cute, this girl looks cute. But just because they don't like you doesn't mean the world's going to end. You are going to meet, you have not met your best, you may have not have met your best friend yet.
Yeah.
Right? You have not met all the people that are going to love you yet. Yeah. Right? And the best part about it, so we got to the end and the teacher says, all right, so 3 questions. What's his name? Oh, that's Mr. Corey.
Aww.
Right? Right? I definitely was like, oh, I did grab my chest. All right, so where does he work? What does he do? They told me, right? And then the last piece, and what was his message to y'all? And they said, he wants us to be happy no matter what decision and what career choice we make. He wants us to be happy and not just make money. And we need to watch our circle and the people that are around us. I was done.
Oh,
That was dope.
congratulations.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
so
dope. Yeah,
proud
that
of
was
you.
dope. That was dope.
When I saw it, and I forget, I think I
Yeah,
did
you texted
reach
me.
out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. When I saw that, I was just like,
Yeah, that's it.
seriously, I was like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's
yeah.
up. I was very excited. What did that moment mean to you? Because for them, and you're this anyway. You are a leader.
Yeah.
But what did that moment mean to you being in the circle? Because they were it was in a circle
Yeah.
form, which was good.
Yep.
What did that mean to you? What did it feel like being in the circle of those young people, the future, right? Like, what did that do for you?
It was inspiring to me, right? Just they may have taken something from me, but I also took something from them.
Yeah.
Right. And it makes you reflect back to all the times where the old heads, they would tell you drop gems. She's like, man, go ahead, old head. Nobody want to hear that stuff. But that stuff, now I'm the old head. Right? now I'm the old head. But like what I felt good about is that they were listening.
Yeah.
And there was a young man all the way on the left, and he seemed like he was just having a different type of day. Seemed like he wasn't paying attention. He was not really making a lot of eye contact. He was kind of whatever. And I spoke to the teacher the next day. Actually, he was just like, he said he was out of it. He just wasn't having a good day. He said, but he heard everything you said. You know what I mean? So I think it was important that being the person that I wanted to be, if I was in that room, I would wanted to hear that message. And it's being relatable. But it felt good. I remember walking back to my car. I was just like, "That's what I'm supposed to be doing."
Like, did I just do that?
Yeah. It was dope.
So, again, I want to point out that's what make you a good leader, because you saw the person that was a little bit, maybe not as engaged as you would like them for them to have been.
Yeah.
You saw them, even though you had all these other kids in front of you. You saw him.
Yep.
And do you know that sometimes that's all a child needs to know is that you see them?
Yep.
Right? So hopefully the teacher went back and said something to him as to say, in a positive way, saying, Mr. Corey checked on you. He wanted to make sure you was okay. Because that's a moment of like, oh wow, he saw me, like he really paid attention to me. You know what I'm saying? So good work. That's awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was good.
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I gotta do that again.
Yeah. Well, good. So take us home. How you want to wrap this up? You go.
Yeah. So I would. What I would say from a leadership perspective, we all have a responsibility. We're all leaders in our own right. And not only diversity when it comes to race, but culture and diversity of thought matter. And we're all leaders, and it's a heavy responsibility, but you should take it serious, and that somebody's always paying attention. Always paying attention, especially when you're a person of color.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? It is not just your colleague. It's not just your peer. It's not just the person that's in charge of you. It's the person that has been working for years, that looks at you as a safe place, as a representation of them. And they feel they can because you're in that position. So sometimes responsibility is silent too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So how you show up matters. So that's what I would say. You have a responsibility to be a leader, and that diversity, it matters.
Yeah,
it matters.
Absolutely. It
So,
definitely does. Thank you for that. Great topic.
Thank you.
Great topic. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Corey.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before you go tonight, if you have not committed to Rebirth Podcast, this is your opportunity to go and subscribe to our podcast. I just want to remind you that we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify, we are on iHeart, and we are on YouTube.
Patreon.
Did I miss out? We're on Patreon. So make sure that you subscribe, because, again, it helps us be able to bring better content, better guests, and it doesn't cost you not one dime to subscribe.
Yep.
So please, if you tune into us, if you watch us, if you love what we're doing, please support us in that way. We would definitely appreciate it. All right. So we are here every Monday night at 7 p.m.
Yes.
I look forward to next week's guest and what we're going to be talking about. If you have not done so already, make sure you reach out to an amazing woman and wish them a happy Women's History Month. March is Women's History Month, and we are honoring and
I reached out.
and yes, you did, and loving on our ladies. So make sure you do that. So again, thank you guys for tuning in to Rebirth Podcast. Thank you, Corey, for always, doing what you do.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you guys. Until next week, have a blessed night.